What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're finally back working on the garage project here. We're going to be laying some block today. I'm going to show you guys how I actually lay block. So we got all the hard ones all laid already for the foundation. Got a lot of them filled with concrete, at least this whole side. So now I can start laying a couple more courses and show you guys how I do all that. Oh, there's a little fawn. Two fawns. We interrupt this video for a little nature break. Oh, look at that. But like I was saying, now that I have all these hard ones laid and everything, we're going to be getting this next course laid over here on this wall, on this hillside over here. It's just started to get hot. I've been real busy, guys. I've been real behind. The rain, it's been raining like every day, and then now it's like super hot. So trying to get work done when I can. It's everything that I need to lay up these block. Just a land trowel or brick trowel. There's a 2-foot level and a 4-foot level, and then I'm going to mix up some mortar here. That's type S mortar and some mason sand. The ratio I use is 2 to 1, so 2 buckets of sand to 1 bucket of mortar. We're gonna lay up that corner, and then this one over here. You lay the corners first, so that after the corners are laid, you can just put up a line and just lay the block just right up to the line. Makes it a lot faster. You barely have to use a level. Gonna mix up this mortar first. Getting ready to start laying here. Got my mortar on my mortar board. This is a real good consistency for mortar. You want it to be just like peanut butter. Mine's a hair wet right now. I do that on purpose because it's so hot right now that after a minute it'll be pretty much perfect. I'm gonna remove these guys, make it easier for me. Just gonna start, push down, work your mud a little bit, your mortar called mud. Work it to where you want it. I push down and pull up, so you get pretty much the same amount every time. I'm actually going to be laying this block here, so I need to do it like that. There's 2 sides to each block. There's a skinny side and a fat side. So I always grab the fat side and lay the skinny side down. And that gives you a nice bed for your next course of mortar. So we're just gonna lay this, set it down evenly. You want to eyeball the corners and get it close for now, and then you're going to get your level here in a minute and make sure it's all plumb and level and everything. It's really hot, guys. So now I'm going to take my 2-foot level, and first I'm going to try to get it pretty close to level and plumb and everything. Just work the bubble, small adjustments. Okay, now it's pretty much perfectly level, front to back, side to side. Now I want to make it perfectly plumb with my wall over here. Alright, so easy way to do this is just follow the block underneath it. You have to follow your bubble here, make sure it's in the lines. That actually looks pretty good right there. This corner, so you need to come out a little bit, so I'm just going to bump it. Touches the level. Now I do the same thing for this other side. Right there is pretty much perfect. Now I'm ready to lay the next block. All right guys, for this next one, you want to butter your block. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So next, I'm just going to put down my next bed of mortar. I'm going to butter the end of this next block. These are called the ears. Butter these so you can press it up against this block that you just laid. I do the same thing for my mortar. You want it to stick to your trowel pretty good, so that's why I kind of push it down first. Then you get the nice consistent amount on your trowel. And then just kind of slap it on there. Takes kind of time to get good at that. I'll explain more here in a second after I lay this block. You want to make sure you keep the mud on the block. All right, laying block is actually really easy. You know that this block is perfectly level, plumb, left to right, back to front, like I said. So all you have to do with these ears is match that. And same with on the other side. When you're looking at this block, if this line matches up with this block perfectly, you know that this block is going to be perfectly level and plumb too, because this is all one big square. If one matches over here, it should be pretty much perfect. Another thing to keep in mind is how big your joints are. I just make mine like a finger length all the way around every one, just to make it simple for me. But you're gonna use your level anyway to get this all right, like this first. And we're gonna just beat this down until the bubble is in the lines and this is perfectly touching this block. Now the middle. That looks pretty good right there. So this side right here needs to come down, and you can actually see it right there in the ear. This ear is a little bit high, so I could already see before I put the level on there that this side needed to come down, so it would be perfectly level with this surface I have right here. Then I'll come over here with my level, make sure they're square. I'll come like this, make sure it's touching, and then you'll do the same thing to make sure that this block is all in line with everything. You'll throw your level up like this. This one's a little hard just because I have a little bit of concrete here that ran over the edge. This whole wall will be covered with dirt, so it don't matter, but a little bit hard to show you how you level it out. But have the level there, and I'm just gonna make the block touch my level like this, and just tap the block a couple times. Right there, that's perfect. You can do it like that. There we go. That's really nice right there. Let me explain a little bit about the buttering quickly, because I got a lot of questions about that on some of my videos. When I was laying this foundation, let me go over in the shade real quick. When I was laying the foundation, I didn't do a lot of buttering, so I really only did buttering on the corners and stuff. I was basically laying block and then just coming along with a grout bag and filling up all the head joints. The vertical ones I call head joints. So I just do that for basically the foundation ones. There's a lot to talk about with that. The correct way is to butter it. I think I can make up a lot. When I'm working by myself, I can make up a lot of time and move fast. When I just lay them, when I'm not buttering them, and then come back with a bag, I think that's a lot faster. And when you're laying these foundation ones, they're all going to be filled with concrete. So the argument is whether or not buttering them versus the bag is stronger. And there's no doubt about it that buttering is better and stronger and all that. But when you're filling all the cells with rebar and concrete, I basically don't have to worry about the strength. So it's going to be so strong because of all the rebar and concrete that that tiny bit of difference it makes between buttering and the bag, it really makes no difference at all for just these ones that are going to be filled with concrete. So for the rest of the block, I'm going to pretty much butter all of them, just because, like I'm saying, it is definitely better all around to butter them. So when you're laying block and you butter them, you're actually pushing the mortar up against the other block, and so it creates pressure in the mortar, so when you strike it, it strikes better, and then it actually holds just the block all in place a little bit better, so so your block don't move on you. One side won't get lower or out of plumb or out of level or whatever. It just, as you're laying, it holds everything together a little bit better. And yeah, specifically for these corners, when you butter them and it all dries like that, it makes just the corner a lot stronger. Definitely, without a doubt, better to butter them. But yeah, so that's that. Now that I have these two laid, I can lay one more up top, and that'll give me 2 courses to go over. I'll do 2 on this side and 2 on this side, so that next time I come to lay here, then I can just throw my line up and make it real tight and just lay these next 2 courses over here, and that'll be that. Work my mortar a little bit. Starting to set up already. When you're laying these corner ones, you want to make sure all this has a bed of mortar, and then right here, this edge has a bed of mortar too. Pretty much anywhere where you're going to strike, you want to have mortar, a bed of mortar. Take my next block, make sure the corner is on the corner, and now I'm just going to lay it nice and even all the way around. Looking at both edges while I lay it, and just kind of slowly let go. Throw this on here, see where we're at. We're way high on this side. You can see the bubble. So I'm gonna tap it right in the middle until we're in the lines. Okay, I'm just gonna stop there for now and check this way, saying that this side needs to come down. I'm gonna make this pretty much perfect. Okay, it's perfectly between the lines. Check this side again, see where we're at. This side still needs to come down a little bit. So I'm gonna hit it right in the middle so I don't knock it out of whack either way. So if I hit it right in the middle, it'll bring me right to where I need it to be. Right there. That looks pretty much perfect to me. Check it like this again. Yeah, so this block is perfect. Bubble is within the middle of the lines both ways. So now we're gonna check it on this outside to make sure it's in line with these block. I can already, when you cut your mortar off, you can kind of tell it needs to go in a little bit. Over here, see this over here is perfect. When you get your mortar off, you can feel with your trowel how even it is, and you can kind of see the joint. Bump it over a little bit. And then just make it meet the level. It's a little off, so you're just gonna bump it. Right there is pretty much perfect. That's perfect right there. Don't touch it again. You're gonna want to strike it pretty soon before it sets up and gets too hard. Always, always, always strike the head joints first, the verticals. When you have a corner like this, you always go in. You never come out and blow the corner out. So if I go like this, the corner doesn't get right. You have to go in like that. Perfect. There's a little hole right here, so I'm going to take a little bit of mortar, fill the hole, come out, stop at the end, come back that way. There's a little tail there. Same thing on the outside, vertical first. Anywhere that has a hole that needs filled, you take a little bit of mud, just fill it, strike it. After you have it struck, you're gonna do what's called cutting the fat. Cut the excess off. Now, since this side right here is facing this hill, it really doesn't have to be pretty, but striking the mortar adds a lot of strength to it. So if you were to just lay these blocks and just let them sit there just the way they are, just in plain mortar, and never touch the mortar again, it definitely would not be as strong as striking it. Striking it puts pressure into the mortar and just makes it way stronger. Now we got this corner laid, 2 more blocks. I still have to dust this to make it look a little bit nicer. You gotta wait a few minutes to let it set up a little bit longer, and then you use just the mason duster. I use a black one, and just dust off the extra and make it smoother and everything. So now I can go down and lay the other corner. Once the other corner is laid, then you can just put your line up between this block and the block down there, and then lay a perfectly straight wall all the way down and meet the other corner. Makes it really easy and makes sure all your blocks are perfectly straight. Got my black duster brush. On a hot day like this, you don't have to wait very long, and you just you don't just do it like straight on it like this. You kind of like an angle, just brush it. Most of the wood is touching this guy. See how you hear the wood scraping too? That's how close of that's the angle that I use. Like I said, you don't care about this side being pretty. I'm just doing this to show you guys. Just dust it off. Front is gonna be seen, so I'm gonna try to make this look pretty nice. All right, over onto this corner. Mud is starting to set up, so you need a little bit of temp and water. Normally I just have a Gatorade bottle or something laying around, but I have this sitting here right next to me. I was just using this for a job, so I'm just gonna use that. You don't need a whole lot, just a little bit to bring it back to life. Oh, that's too much. Might have been a perfect amount. Now you just work it like this. Take what's underneath, bring it to the top, and move it, like kind of shimmy it. Work it, I call it. Take the bottom, bring it to the top, and work it through until you get it in a nice, good consistency again. Peanut butter. You can see the joints right here. The next block has to span that joint, so the corner is gonna be right here, going here, this way. So the next block is gonna go from here to here. So that's where you're gonna lay your next bed of mud. Now that we got the corners all laid up, we can put our line up. So we use 2 wood blocks and some mason line. These wood blocks, you can just get them pretty much anywhere. Home Depot, Lowe's. There's a couple different ways you can get this line to stay in the block. Sometimes on one end, I'll just tie a little knot on the end of the line, and it slides in here. And when you pull it tight, that knot gets caught right there. And now you can put this on your block. So I'll just set it here for now until I get the other side set up and get some tension on the line. So we're down here on the other side. You're gonna put the line right in the little groove that's in this block. And you wanna put some pretty good tension on it. The block that I'm gonna be putting it on is right here. So I'm basically gonna stop it right at the corner of the block. And then just wrap it around here. Just wrap it around here a bunch of times, and that'll just hold that line in place with all that friction and tension. Just gonna put it right here on this corner. I actually need to go on the lower one, but that's exactly how it's gonna go, right like that. I'm just showing you. Put it down below here. Right here. You want it to follow this block and be right in line with this block. So if you flick it, it goes back to place right where you need it to be. Come back to this side and see where it's at. Right there. See, it's pretty much perfect. Now when we lay our blocks, we can just follow that line all the way around, all the way down. So I'm gonna put some mud on my board and we'll get laying. So we're gonna do the same thing as before. These ones go really fast, really easy when you're following the line. You want to try to get the same amount of mortar on your trowel every time. You can lay a bunch of these very quickly, so you can put a bunch of mortar down for a bed. I'm gonna butter these. Try to do it real slow for you guys. You can, if you're not comfortable doing it fast, you can kind of just put your trowel right on there, find the edge, and then push it on. And then if you don't think it's on there good enough, you can come back and kind of give it another little push. When you're laying these, you're just following the line. So when you first lay it, all you want to make sure is that you're above the line. And then you're going to follow the last block, because you know this block that you laid, the corner block, is perfectly plumb and level, back and forth, left to right, all that. So if you follow this block right here, or the line, you want to make sure it's not touching it, just barely, and then tap it down right until it meets the line. That looks pretty good right there. Over here looks a tiny bit high. You want it to just barely touch the line. You don't want to put any pressure on the line at all. You want the line to be free floating. You want it to be as close to the line as possible without actually touching it. And that looked pretty good on the inside here when I just cleaned off my mud. So I think this block is perfect. We're just gonna lay the next one. To put my block with the ear up, that way they're already sitting there. You can just butter them right in place. You're gonna push against the block you just laid, and then just lay it gently right in place. If you want to, every once in a while you can just check your level. That's perfect. Some guys put a line on the inside too, that way you just follow the line on both sides. I don't really like to do it that way. I like to leave this open just because it's easier to lay block when there's not two lines in your way and you're fighting both of the lines. That was perfect. Push up against the block you just laid. Gently set it. Like a glove. Stupid fly. Okay, got this all cleaned up and got this all struck and got a lot of the fat cut off. Now I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes and then dust it with my brush and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, and that's how you lay block. So I don't have very many left. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 15 left. I need like 20, 22 or 23 per course. So I don't have enough to do another course. So I'll probably just lay all the corners next. I still gotta do that corner over there, this corner right here, the opening corner, and then same for right here. So I'll probably just use the 15 or so block I have and do all the corners and get that ready, so when I get my next cube of block I can just throw my line up and just start laying. So we're making some really good progress on this garage, got a lot done so far. I'm happy now that we're up above this pad. It makes all the laying a lot easier. But yeah guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video and hopefully you learned some things. I've been getting lots of questions about block laying and whatnot, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to drop a big thumbs up down below. I really appreciate it, and it really helps out the video, helps it reach a wider audience. And if you haven't already, please remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the future videos. I got lots planned for this garage and a lot of different projects I'm gonna start getting into real soon. Like I said before, this garage has just been taking up a lot of my time and money. I had to go back to work and get a bunch of work done, and now I'm just doing some of this whenever I can. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace.